Hey guys, welcome back to another Gaming Memories video. Here we are taking a look at Colin McRae Rally 2.0, the highly acclaimed sequel to the fantastic original game which was Colin McRae Rally. This title was actually released in the year 2000 on the PlayStation 1, and this here was definitely a fantastic upgrade to an already fantastic title, because as you all know, the Colin McRae series of rally games is pretty much among the best ever created in any format of racing games on any console. Originally, the first game really set its own kind of standards and really put rally games on the map, because it really took rally style racing to the next level, especially in terms of gaming. So what better way then to improve on that by creating this fantastic sequel? And it is fantastic pretty much in every sense of the word. It's not to take away from the original game. The original game set the foundation and set the standard, but this here improved on that standard. The graphics actually were definitely better in terms of the visual appeal. The cars were actually a lot faster. You had loads of different varieties of cars that were all kind of in sync with that time period of the likes of the cars that were available, because at that point Colin McRae himself had actually moved to Ford Racing, and he was racing on the Ford Rally team at that point. He had moved from Subaru, which he originally, in the original game, he was a Subaru driver. Both games are fantastic. They're probably the two best rally games on the PlayStation, period, hands down. There's not too many rally games on the PlayStation 1 that I really know of, but the ones that are there, these two are definitely among the best out there, if not some of the best games ever made, and they're definitely some of the most iconic titles ever made on any type of console. They really set the standard, like Gran Turismo, in terms of the car world and in terms of car games. Colin McRae pretty much set that standard for the likes of rally style games on consoles, and pretty much when Colin McRae 2 came out, this really brought things to the next level, and so many rally games after that really tried to kind of replicate that formula, but very few ever really executed it actually very well, or ever captured that kind of vibe or that feeling that it actually offered, because it had everything. What was offered actually in the second game was they actually offered like an arcade section into it as well. Like if you've seen the previous section now where there was multiple cars on the screen, that wasn't really in the first game now at all, but they added it into the second one, so there was definitely a lot more variety in it. There's just a lot more replayability in terms of everything that was offered in the game. It really is an incredible title. It's definitely one of my favourite rally games of all time, and definitely one of the best racing games period on the PlayStation 1. Graphically, it's one of the best looking games on the PlayStation. It's only really bettered in my opinion by the Gran Turismo series, which is definitely a tough feat to kind of follow anyway. So for this here to definitely be up there with that is actually a privilege. Now there are a lot of fantastic, really good looking graphics quality racing games on the PlayStation 1, but this is definitely up among the best of them for sure. And it does definitely come off the back of the success of the previous game as well, because the original game is one of the best selling titles on the PlayStation 1. It really set the standards of rally games, but even just in general racing games, alongside Gran Turismo in 1998. So this really is an incredible franchise, an incredible game. My first experience with it now, actually funny enough, was actually I played it on a demo. That was actually how I played the original game as well. I remember getting one of the demos for the original game. I have mentioned in previous videos. I'll leave a link to it in the description so that you can go check it out if you haven't seen it already. And this year was no different. I remember playing actually a demo of the original game, and I had like 3 tracks, but they were all random. Every time you played the demo, the tracks actually rotated. You played between like Australia, Monaco and New Zealand. Now we didn't really get that with the second demo disc. I do remember actually being excited to actually play it, and I remember myself, my brothers and even my friends and that, and we knew that it was actually the demo was coming out. Couldn't wait to get the magazine so that we could actually play the demo of Colin McRae 2. And don't get me wrong, brilliant demo. We were actually playing on this track here, was actually the first stage on France, and it's very very quick. It's short, but it's really really, like, you know, just frantic. It's just really crazy. You can just drive really fast. You only had access to Colin McRae's car at the time, which was the Ford Focus, so you were really able to zip around the track very very quickly. But you didn't get access to the same, like, kind of like random tracks that you would have gotten in the original demo that you got. So that we were kind of little bit disappointed by that. But at the same time, we were just completely blown away by the differences between that when we compared it to the original title, because the graphical quality, as you can see here, compared to the original title, was just leaps and bounds above. The game was actually faster than the original game. Even the environments, the cars, like the elements of the cars, like the graphical style of the cars, they were a lot more lifelike and realistic, even near enough to power level or nearly of Gran Turismo. I know that's going a long shot, but the whole visual style of them definitely has the realistic kind of look and vibe to them compared to the original game, so it really really stepped it up a notch. But I think as well, when you look back at the likes of Gran Turismo, as I mentioned, even though it's a completely different game, Gran Turismo 2 in the second game did have its own rally stage. But I think what actually happened is, because the games are so good visually, I think it really set the standard. So then it really left for likes of big titles like this here to really step up the visual game as well, and it definitely done that really well. So this was definitely a groundbreaking title, and it really again pushed the limits of the PlayStation console in terms of what it offered, both in power, what they could actually do within the limitations of the hardware, which is quite incredible. And that's what I loved so much about the PlayStation. You had so many unique and quirky games. You had mainstream games that just really broke the mold and really set the standards, and they just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And if I'll be totally honest, a lot of these games still play just as good today as they've ever done, and they're still as good as a lot of games that come out today. So they do. That'll tell you how good they actually are, and this one here is no different. This is actually a fantastic title, and it's a true classic. So I do recommend, if you haven't played Colin McRae, if any of the games in the series, especially in the PlayStation 1, I do highly recommend that you check them out. And I do recommend you check this game out if you can. Again, I'll leave a link in the description to a playlist of a load of other rally games that I've covered on the channel, even Colin McRae 1 also, and I do highly recommend that you should check them out if you haven't already done so. You won't regret it, as there are some cool titles there, and there may even be some that you may not have even heard of before, and you'll find some of them how good they actually are, and they're definitely worth a playthrough if you haven't experienced them already. So I definitely recommend that you go and check them out for sure, because they definitely are a unique experience and you will actually enjoy them. So I'd love to know your thoughts on Colin McRae Rally 2.0, or just in the Colin McRae Rally series on the PS1 just in general. What are your experiences with it? Do you think it's one of the best rally series of games ever, and did you play these games much back in the days of the PlayStation? Make sure to share your thoughts down below in the comments. And again, be sure to check out that link I'll leave in the playlist for all the other rally games that the PlayStation actually had back in the day also, because there are some cool videos there with some really cool games in it. So if you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be updated whenever I release future videos, as I will be revisiting a lot of these old classics and getting to play other games I never got the chance to play back in the day, and share my experiences and thoughts with everyone. So as always, make sure to keep playing those classic games and enjoying them, and keep those gaming memories alive.